I'm Dr. Gerald Fishkin, and this is Virtual Reality Take 1, Sexual Addiction with Robert. Hi, Robert. Thank you for coming in today. What is it that you want to talk about?
So I wanted to talk about an issue that I've been having with pornography. I really want to stop. I'm going to get married in a couple weeks, and my soon-to-be wife doesn't know about it, and I'm scared to tell her.
And how long has this been going on with you? When did it begin?
It started when I was around maybe 12 or 13, and I came home from school one day, and my sister told me that she found pornography in my dad's room, and she showed me the video.
Wow. And that must have been, for a 12-year-old, very difficult?
I guess it was a little confusing just because I was curious, and I enjoyed it. Actually enjoyed it.
You mean the video?
Yeah.
Okay. This brings me to the first issue, and that is, what was your relationship with Dad like?
He wasn't really around a lot. I do remember when I was a kid, when I was younger, growing up, he was loving. I do remember him saying that he loved me and whatnot, but for the most part, I don't really remember him spending too much time with him as I would with my siblings and my mom.
And Mom.
Yeah.
So Dad was really kind of distant, wasn't really there for you, right?
Right, yeah, he worked a lot, and then even then when he would come home, I don't really recall ever seeing him around except for at the dinner table.
So I'm assuming then that Dad was a bit, was emotionally avoidant?
Yeah, I would definitely say that he was.
And then all of a sudden you find, as a 12-year-old coming in pubescent adolescent, you find this video.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Well, my sister, she pretty much showed me where my dad's stash was, pretty much. So, I had that resource. I was able to get to it whenever I could, and at first, from what I remember, I didn't really pay it too much mind at first, and then it really didn't take that long until I was like wanting to watch the same video again.
Like that Dad watched the same kind of thing.
Right. Well, the video that my sister found, and,
right.
I would continue to watch that.
But you can assume that Dad was watching the same
videos.
Yeah.
So one connection you might have had with Dad was through the same pornography, the same videos, the same magazines, the same pictures, huh?
Yeah.
So that was a connection to Dad. But it was also a connection to your developing sense of, sexuality and all of that coming into your own.
Right.
So what did that lead into?
Well, it didn't really stop after that. It's just, I would keep watching. I can't remember how often I would watch it, but I just remember watching it whenever I was home alone, nobody was around, I would watch it.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't know what I was feeling, you know, in my body. So I didn't masturbate or anything like that at first. I would, you know, I would still watch it.
Uh-huh.
But eventually, you know, when I was going through puberty and I learned pretty much how to masturbate. I would do that.
You'd masturbate to the,
To-
and that became very reinforcing for you, I'm assuming.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so your first sexual connection was through video
Mm-hmm.
and masturbation, which was almost like an instant, you know, in learning theory, that's like an instant connection, right?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
And in terms of in terms of that process, so the more you watch it, the more reinforcing it is, and
Mm-hmm.
the more fantasy you had as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could
Absolutely.
actually, most people get into videos where you're getting into it and seeing yourself as, excuse me, part of the production, if you will, as part of the action.
Yeah, absolutely. I did start thinking about that, and at one point wanting to have the same experience, you know, that of what I was watching.
Of watching.
Yeah,
And of course, we realize that's all contrived anyway, but
yeah,
it was still very stimulating for you.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then it became conflictual. Did it get in the way of making friends and making relations with others? Or shame? How did you feel about yourself?
I think I didn't want to get caught, so I guess I would associate that with shame of not wanting to get caught, because I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. And as far as making friends, I can see how maybe indirectly it did, because I did struggle during middle school and end of elementary, 6th grade, to make friends. You know, I felt almost like an outcast going into middle school. I didn't really have many friends.
I think
And it was hard for you to relate to other kids then, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
It was easier to relate to a video and a computer screen than it was to relate to other kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you, in essence, started the process of becoming emotionally detached as well from others, right? Or emotionally avoidant.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because I didn't really go out as much to like go play or go to the park or anything like that. I mostly keep to myself.
Like a lot of kids at that early age are developing fantasies and ideas and things about themselves and all of that, but and also they're learning how to be young boys and young men, right?
Yeah,
But you didn't have that. You didn't have that learning experience, and all the while becoming more detached and emotionally distant, kind of like your dad was with you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And I can see that this is difficult for you, but you also said that now you're in the process of wanting to get married, and you have a girlfriend. I'm assuming she's like a fiancé,
yeah.
and she's not aware of this pattern, or is she aware of this?
I've spoken to her about issues with it, and we've definitely come across a lot of difficult moments where it didn't seem like we were gonna continue on, and she has caught me, and we have argued about it, and I have told her that I would stop, and I have told her that I have stopped, and I just it's been a while, and that I've kept it from her, that I'm still doing it.
And has it affected your emotional relationship with her, your connectivity with her, at any level?
Yeah, I would say so, because I get very easily jealous with her.
Jealous.
Yeah, so she'll tell me about a coworker at work, that she's the opposite sex, that she would speak to him, and automatically, my mind would start to race of, well, is she being truthful to me, or something else going on? Which I feel like that's me keeping this from her plays a role in that.
Right, and if you're not being emotionally open with her, if you're not being transparent with her, it's easy to see how you could be jealous of her potential association with somebody at work or anybody else that you might think is more open with her than you are.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes
And
sense.
and then because you had this rich fantasy life from watching videos, you can assume maybe that she's doing something that you observed in the video as well, with somebody else.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I think about that sometimes as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
And when you think about that, what happens to you?
Well, I start thinking. I kind of use that, the way that you put it right now. I use that to justify my own fantasies, because I've been wanting to stop, and I do get the sense of not wanting to proceed through when I am in the middle of watching and wanting to masturbate.
Right?
But that's one of the things that I use to push me through it, of just doing the act.
Right. I'm assuming from what you're saying that your girlfriend is pretty open and she's very accepting to a point. But you're not as open emotionally or emotionally available as she has been with you.
Yeah, I would say so. She's very open. She's very good at telling on herself, pretty much.
Robert, and I'm assuming that's one of the beautiful reasons why you're with her
Yes, absolutely.
and why you want to move forward with her
Mm-hmm.
and get out of the stuckness, if you will, that you're in with this old pattern. I want to go back to one other thing that we talked about, because I know it's difficult, but your relationship with your dad, has it improved at all, or is it about where it has been?
I'd say to a certain extent, it's improved, because we did have a moment when I was a little bit older, becoming a young adult, where we did bump heads a lot, because I was rebelling pretty much. I would go out with friends.
Sure.
And he told me not to, and
Right.
I just wouldn't listen to him.
Of course.
But I think going through that did help our relationship for sort of, because we were able to talk, but I still
Right.
do feel like I can't sorry.
It's okay.
I still feel like I can't have an emotional conversation with him. I mostly feel like it's just on the surface.
Right, and that's
Conversation.
not your, I know it's emotional for you right now, and I feel it, and believe me, but that's not your issue, it's his.
Mm-hmm.
It became your issue because your father is emotionally avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
And your relationship with your mom is what?
With her, it's almost similar. She's avoidant as well, but I know that I can share things on a deeper level.
Okay.
She'll, like, I can share it with her. She won't give me much feedback, but
Right.
I know that she's listening.
Right, right. And your girlfriend, or your fiance rather, is aware of all of these factors?
Yeah, absolutely. I told her.
Okay.
She knows well.
And just by virtue of what you're doing with me right now, this emotion as you're experiencing it,
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel as you're experiencing it right now, right this moment?
I feel like I wish things would be different with my father.
Right.
I can't really pin an emotion to it, but I obviously I feel sad,
Sure.
you know, and
Sure.
I think longing would be the best word to put, like just a longing for feeling that with
A connectivity.
a connectivity.
Yeah,
My father.
like the father-son thing
Yeah,
you might see on TV or in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. But again, this isn't your issue.
right.
It becomes yours because of what you said, the longing and the wanting to have him in your world.
Mm-hmm.
But, essentially he brought this into the relationship, into the marriage, and into the family.
Right, yeah.
But the good news here is as you're feeling these emotions and expressing them, you're on the royal road to finding an inner peace because you're able to connect
Mm-hmm.
right now
Yeah.
and allow these feelings to flow just as you are,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that you've never had with your dad, but you may not be able to have it, but you're becoming your own man.
Mm-hmm.
And as you develop your life with your fiancé and your marriage and maybe your own family, you'll understand, because you can feel it right now, how important it is
Yeah.
to connect. And the pain that we create for ourselves, and maybe created by our family, by not being in the mix, by not really being there,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but that doesn't appear to be who you are, because your feelings are so obvious right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't kill you. Feelings won't kill you. They'll make you a better person, a better who you are kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can see that in you.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. Thank you.
And thank you for being so open with me. Robert, it's not easy to have your emotions just hang out there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing you have to remember: your emotions, and emotions will never kill you. What kills us is when we suppress them, or we push them down and push them down and push them down.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what you did when you were reinforcing your sexually addictive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But as you allow yourself to relate to this, it's kind of like the sexual addiction and the videos and all that were your heart and lung machine, but you don't need that anymore, because you are fully engaged with yourself.
Yeah.
And the goal is to become more fully engaged with how you feel about anything. Because I'm guessing that from your family, they're all they're all emotionally avoidant and detached.
Yeah. Pretty
Right.
accurate, yeah.
But you came into the family that way.
Yeah.
And that's,
Absolutely.
but we all create our own life
Mm-hmm.
and not repeat what you know, the model that is set up for us.
Right. Yeah.
So as you're moving forward with your fiance,
Mm-hmm.
and the more you're able to allow this to happen, the freer you're going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and the freer you are. And I guess you can feel that right now, or some of that right now as we're talking.
Absolutely.
And you can see that all that other stuff was a tool that you learned actually by accident,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, and it just stuck,
Mm-hmm.
which is how most addictions happen anyway. Somebody gives a child the first drink and it's reinforcing and
Mm-hmm.
blah blah, and the kid gets all warm, just like the same warmth that you got when you were chasing the emotion and watching daddy's pornography and daddy's stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it warmed you up. But that's not a true warmth per se.
Mm-hmm.
The true warmth comes from when we're engaged with another.
Okay.
And I'm assuming with your fiance you feel that.
Yes, absolutely.
And that has to be empowering for you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it is.
To become, Robert, the man that you want to be.
Yeah.
The man that you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like a flower. When a flower isn't getting the sun and the water, it's not going to open up and be what it can be.
Mm-hmm.
But when we nourish it and give it the proper vitamin D, the flower, the plant opens up and we can see what a beautiful flower it is. We can't see that
Yeah.
when we're stuck in the middle of our crisis or our addiction or what I call our shame-based behavior, because it is.
Yeah.
But you appear to be one that has enough insight and awareness from what we're talking about to understand that, again, this was not your dilemma, you fell into it.
Mm.
It pre-existed you,
Yeah.
but we don't have to let it trail you for the rest of your life either.
Okay.
What else have you and your fiance discovered about life? Do you share other common bonds? By that I mean, do you have a social community? Do you have a religious community that you share?
Yeah, absolutely. Not too long ago, we actually we gave our life to Christ, and we go to church. We're involved with a few different groups, Bible study, a couples Bible study. So we're involved in that, and we enjoy it. You know, we get to communicate with others that share the same beliefs, and then we have something to talk about after
Right.
the fact. So
And I can see you're smiling, and that really does make you happy. And
Mhm.
is that fulfilling for you?
yes.
Is it more fulfilling than the addictive behavior that you had?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about that?
What part?
Well, I mean, yes, how you get filled up with the, the spirituality part,
Mhm.
I'm assuming, and
Right.
the Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
How is that different from your former addictive behavior?
Okay. Well, there is an emotional attachment to it with my wife and I, which I just shared. Like, the fulfillment that I get is knowing that we both agree on something and we both believe in it, and we're able to talk about it and just be able to just feel a sense of belonging and
You started to say openness.
openness. Yeah,
I
just
think
being
you-
able to communicate with each other.
And that is that freeing,
Mhm.
internal freeing that you experience.
Yeah,
And that connectivity with a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
yeah, that too. Yeah. Most importantly, that.
And that relationship really supplants the relationship that you didn't have,
Mm-hmm.
or the kind of relationship you had with your father. In other words, the connectivity with a higher power,
Mhm.
with the group, your church group, your
Right.
religious group, your Bible study group.
Right.
But most important, your relationship with your fiance.
Mm. Yeah.
That openness, and that's real.
Yeah.
That's more real than any video or any magazine or anything. else we could ever have.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference when you're in that, and as you're moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely, I do see the difference of beforehand, you know, of when we didn't go, when we were just we were secular, we didn't really belong to any specific group or
Right.
anything like that. We were just kind of just floating. That's really what I felt before, is that we're floating, but now I feel like we're in a place that's very, very solid.
That's wonderful. And what all that says to me is that recovery can happen when we find something that's greater than ourself, and we want to get past those shame wounds.
Right.
And especially when we realize that we didn't create those shame wounds. They were pre-existed us. We just kind of fell into them.
Right.
Because every child, boy or girl, wants to have a connectivity with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And when that connectivity doesn't happen, what happens is we find other things to connect to.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids use drugs, some kids use bullying, you know, they do other acting out behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
But you found a higher power, you found a higher level of connectivity,
Right.
something to relate to that makes you feel like, as we say, a better version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A different version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that you're not stuck.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, you connected that pretty good.
Well, we've pretty much talked about a lot of this today, and I'm so glad that you came in to kind of help move past this.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad as well that
Are you?
that I came here. Yeah.
Is there anything else that we left in the bag that we want to put on the counter?
I mean, I feel like that's pretty much it. I think that's a big chunk of it, is my relationship with my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
And how that has changed, and how you understand that you didn't create that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But maybe through your own openness, you can be a model for him
Mm-hmm.
and help him understand that, you know, he's locked up, and maybe he can learn to relate to you in a different way, hopefully.
Yeah. That's the hope.
That's the hope.
Mm-hmm.
But as you grow and develop, you're becoming your own person.
Mm-hmm.
You will become your own male head of the household. And then you'll be able to order that home and have that home in the way that you want, governed by maybe a higher power, maybe by
Mhm.
God, as you're saying.
Yeah.
That is the umbrella that warms us
Yeah.
better than the warmth, the dopamine and maybe the oxytocin you got from watching videos,
Mm-hmm.
and have that connectivity not only with your fiance, but a higher power as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I just offer that I will always be here for you if you need me,
Thank you.
and I look forward to you having the happy and complete and successful life that you want to have, and the emotionally fulfilled life that you want.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for letting me express how I feel, and for just feel how I feel comfortable with you. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.